Thank you, Elise. Thank you for writing it. Thank you for singing it. Thank you. Did I say Elise? Wait a minute. Thank you, Emily. Thank you for writing it. Thank you for singing it. And thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Jeffrey. You're so forgiving. I really appreciate that. That's a whole lot about what's going to happen with this world, is that we're going to start forgiving each other for the little things, right? And the big things as well. Because we do believe that there is a basic underlying divine harmony, that nothing could have come into being without that harmonious divine life of God that brought it all into being. Now, we've messed with that a little bit, would you say? That there is what our Sharif Abdullah, who wrote Creating a World That Works for All, he calls all of the upsets, the conflicts, the racism, the homophobia, the the hate, the things that don't work for us in our world. He says there's so many different things. You can't blame it on this or on that. He's just calling the whole thing the mess. The mess. Well, it exists, but God didn't create it, because what we've been given is free will. And having that free will, we choose, often unconsciously, we make decisions that don't work well for us or for the people in our world or for the world itself. So we must return to that original harmony. And how do we do that? You've been hearing it all evening about how we do that. We do it through coming back to our source, for realizing that we must share the love that is within us. It's the love of God. It's implanted there. We didn't create it. We created some of the mess. But we didn't create the love. It is infinite, it is eternal, and it belongs to each and every one of us. So we must restore harmony to this world, first by entering into that real experience of love. This is something I like very much. It's very much like the kind of thing I would read to the kids on a Sunday morning when it was wee wisdom time. There's room for you and room for him, room for her and room for them, room for young, room for old, room for shy, room for bold, room for short, room for tall. Tell me, how is there room for all? Here is the secret to making rooms great. We refuse ever to make room for hate. And so it's our individual choice to bring the love that is innately within us, to bring that shining light that we all partake in from the one light into our own individual lives. Let's start by bringing them into our own homes and our workplaces. Let's let that love move out and touch and bless, and let the light shine a little bit more brightly than it ever has before. Again, Sharif Abdullah in The World That Works for All, and aren't we working toward recreating a world that works for all? And how can we do that better than to restore the harmony through our own individual application of the love and the light? He says, we encourage people to practice the essence of the spiritual teachings that have been given to them, regardless of the source of their authority. He gives an example of a time when he was in St. Petersburg, Russia, and he was threatened by 4 skinheads while he was walking down the street. And he thought, how can I practice love thy neighbor? How can I practice it when my neighbor is threatening to kill me? He finds that the most essential thing in life is to establish an unafraid, heartfelt commitment. Oh, you are in pain, but I am not the cause of it, and hurting me will not ease it. I am with you. Whatever you are feeling, I am feeling. In this conversation, we did not have to say a word, and although I said and did nothing, they backed off. I was apparently aided by the fact that I did not speak Russian, and they apparently did not speak English. One of them rushed to me and started screaming at me. I did not react negatively, partly because I honestly had no idea what he was saying. I did not let the words get in the way of our communication. Many years ago, in a university setting, there was a guest speaker named Ira Sandpearl, and he had worked with Martin Luther King, and he had learned from Gandhi the principles of nonviolence. And he told us that he was walking the streets of San Francisco about 2 o'clock one morning after having made a presentation at a hotel, and he was accosted by a young man with a knife. And he used all of his practices, which obviously come from a true heart of love. And he said to the young man who said, "Give me all your money," He said, well, you know, I have about $2.50. And he said, you look really hungry. Why don't you and I go to that all-night taco place? I think we could get a bite to eat. And they did. And ultimately, this young man came to work with him in his peace and nonviolent community. So it's up to each of us. You know, the wonderful song, "Let there be peace on earth, let it begin with me," it really, us, the love begins with us. The understanding begins with us. The realization that down deep we are all one, that people are hurting and they have pain, and you can't know it or name it, but you can hold it tenderly in your heart and see the beloved within each of the people. And in this way, we truly are able to bring harmony into the world by simply being who we were sent here to be, the beloveds in whom God truly is well pleased.